I think one of the biggest things that I've realized recently is the notion of allowing yourself to want something. I recently realized that there were a lot of dreams and passions and ways of being that I kind of just brushed under the rug for my whole entire life. And I have built my life on things that I do care about, but it started to feel like there was this feeling I was missing, and I would see it in other people. I would see this excitement in other people, and it's not like the things I have in life I'm not excited about, but it's always like asking myself, like, is this everything you ever wanted? Like, is this everything you do want? And I've achieved many things in many different domains, and I thought, like, this is what I want, right? Right? Like, I'm like asking myself, like, this is what you wanted, right? And I just recently realized, like, although I have accomplished many things and I have gained expertise in many different areas and skill sets, even with the things I've accomplished in them, they didn't ever hit this thing in my soul that I thought it would hit. And that's what brought me back to the realization of, like, what was it that I wanted as a kid? Like, what were the things that I enjoyed doing? The things that I chose to forget. The things I chose to forget. Like, I almost, like, didn't feel like there was any place for that life for me. Like, the dreams I did have, I didn't really believe that there was a place for that for me in life. So your mind does what it does best, is it elicits defense mechanisms for you. It rewires your perceptions to fit what you believe is possible for you. And by doing that, it's not like I didn't create an amazing life or many great things, but I'm at the point in my life where, like, you think I'd be, like, feeling more fulfilled, and I haven't been. And I've been doing things that I thought I liked to do, but then I realized, like, there were always the second choice. I would say it's like equivalent to, when you date someone and they're not bad, like, they're not toxic, they're actually pretty nice to you, but for some reason it isn't what you want. Like, that is the exact feeling that I feel, like, with my life. Like, and again, it's not to say that I've been doing anything that I don't like. Like, there are all the things that I've picked up in life and the things I've gone to school for, like, I've gained skill in, I'm good at it, I do like it, but I have this feeling in me that I'm like, is this it? Is this what I wanted? And I watch close people around me get super excited about things. And I'm so happy for them. And it always leads me to this curiosity that I honestly didn't really want to pay attention to before, of, like, why don't I feel that feeling with the things that I've accomplished in life? I've accomplished many things. I've created many great things. And why don't I feel what that person's feeling? And it's just a hunch, like, theory of mind, like, trying to, like, gauge how that person views their own life. But, like, I really feel like the things that they're feeling, like, I still haven't gained access to. And I thought that if I kept doing everything that I did choose for my life, that would change, that eventually I would feel this, like, soul igniting passion feeling where I'm just looking forward towards the expansion of my life. And I never fully felt that. And then it made me realize all of the things that I placed on the back burner. And when I did try those things that I placed on the back burner, suddenly I felt that, like, soul igniting feeling, like, wait, I like this. And it's something that I never chose to allow myself to do in my whole entire life, because I just thought, like, it's not possible for someone like me. It's not. And that belief creates a rule system for your mind. Like your mind lives off of rule sets, and like almost like it structures your life based on what you believe you have access to, which is very powerful and very limiting at the same time. And that's what I realized. Like I finally did the thing that I was wanting to do. I finally like kind of walked into the world of the thing that I had always thought about in my head as a kid. And I was like, holy shit, I want to keep doing this. And it was a feeling of ease and this feeling of enjoyment that I didn't necessarily get with the other things I chose in life. I did well and I did love it, but it always felt like this uphill battle with all the secondary things I chose to build my life around. But then this one thing that I decided to finally ask someone to help me with, I finally allowed myself to want it. When I did it, I was like, this feels like the feeling I've been trying to work towards getting with all the other things that I have already made in life. And like that, easily, the first time I finally let myself want what I wanted, want this area of life, want this skill, and be in it, it felt easy. It felt seamless. It felt like a feeling I was like searching for my whole entire life. And there it was, waiting to be experienced by the person who never chose to walk into it. And that's been my biggest realization this week, is allowing yourself to want something. You will literally, and honestly, like I've been really wrapping my head around this for a while. Like, is it possible to gain access to something that you didn't perceive first? Is it possible to materialize something that you didn't own first, that you didn't admit to yourself that you wanted first? And it's come to see that like I don't think that you can materialize in your life something that you didn't even allow yourself to want. Like, it was the fact that I finally admitted to myself, I want this. I want to experience this skill. I want to experience this world. I want to be that version of me that I could only have dreamed in my head as a kid. I want to admit that that's what I want, because for the longest time I didn't admit it. I would just fill my life with every other skill, every other area of focus. I filled my life with all, I don't want to say completely second choices, but they were the things that felt the most accessible for someone like me. Because what I truly wanted, I never believed I was good enough for. All I knew was that I really wanted it, but that doesn't mean that it's for me. But it's like, dude, what do you think is for you other than the things that you actually want? Like, you think the world has some fucking rule where like, oh, Veda, you're born and you only get to choose from A, B, and C. Like, no. The world offers you based off of what you want, what you perceive. And this thing, I wanted it, but I kind of like made myself forget that. Like, I never fully owned that desire. I never talked about it. I never told people like, this is what I want to do. This is what was my dream as a kid. I never told anybody that, because to admit that to myself would change everything for me. I don't think I wanted to deal with the insecurities that would come by admitting what I truly wanted. And it reminds me of the feeling I get in the dating world. So I've mentioned this. I'm actually not sure if I mentioned this in any TikTok or any video yet, but mentioned it to a lot of my friends. I date down. I purposefully date men that I am not fully like attracted to, or fully feel like, yeah, I would choose you if I had the choice. I would choose people based on personality, and then let everything else I cared about like grow on its own, like actual attraction and actual like sexual desire, and like just anything that would even draw you into someone. I just put that on the back burner. I was like, I'm just gonna, and this is unconscious, but I something I just realized, like I would date down on purpose because the thought of admitting to myself the type of man I actually wanted would make me have to face the fact that I don't believe I'm good enough for it. And let me tell you something, the only way you could even get from point A to point B, like let's say you're at point A, but you want the life at point B, the only way you could get there is by first allowing yourself to want it and then allowing yourself to face the fact that you don't believe that you can have it right now. Because I thought the solution was, let me just pretend I don't want it. Let me just pretend that that type of guy is someone I wouldn't even date. Let me just pretend that what I'm picking is what I think is best for me. And that's like the defense mechanism I lived and employed and was unconsciously operating on for years. For years. Like, I don't even remember the last time that I was like truly honest with myself about the type of men I really wanted, as well as the dreams that I truly had in my soul. And that being said, I thought that like the loophole to just the feeling of failure, of feeling like, oh, I'll never get there, the loophole was just to not want it. If I can just convince myself that that's not even the type of guy I want, then I won't have to face the healing I would have to do to even accept that type of person. Because in order to get to the type of person I wanted, that meant that I had to face a lot of insecurities that held me back from even approaching those men. And that being said, I found a very, very similar parallel to my dreams. I would, like I said, when I said relationships, I would date down. I would like dream down. Like if that's a word, I would dream down. Like, let me just pretend that this is everything I ever wanted and let's roll with that. And that didn't take away my initial desire. I thought it did until one day I got that experience. I was able to like walk into the world for a bit of the craft I really wanted, and I enjoyed every single bit of it. And I'm like, whoa, like what is this? Like I thought that I kind of surpassed this feeling of wanting it, but no, you don't erase things that you just put under the rug. And like I said with the men, like just because I pretended that I wanted a certain type of guy just to like what's it called, like consolidate my self-worth, like to save myself from feeling less worthy, that never took away the desire I had for a different type of man. Like that never took it away. It just like dimmed it for several years. And every year, you know, I always feel like, why don't I feel this feeling that other people feel? Well, maybe, girl, because you don't fucking let yourself want it. Like a lot of just everything, like I said, I'm coming to realize like you don't get anything you don't allow yourself to want privately first. Like even if it's like privately, like I'm not saying that you have to like go tell people what you want. I'm not saying you have to go post and say like these are my dreams and affirm that I'm gonna get this. Like no, like the first step is admitting to yourself in your fucking room all alone that I actually want this. I want this type of person. I want this type of life. I want this type of career. I want this type of identity. I want this self-concept. I want these things. Because if you can't admit it to yourself privately, the world is just it's just not gonna be able to give you that. My therapist explained it like this. She was like, it's like looking at a mirror and expecting your reflection to smile before you do first. That's literally what it is. I just realized like life isn't magically gonna place things in front of you. That's not really how it works, but it will as soon as you want it. Like if you don't even allow yourself to want it, you're not going to ask those questions. You're not going to go to those functions. You're not going to talk about it. You're not going to see yourself in that way. You will never accept any opportunity that life wants to give you because you won't perceive it. That's just the reality. Anything you don't want, even if the world placed it in front of you, you wouldn't perceive it. You wouldn't touch it. You would look past it. And that's what I've seen relationships and just goals and dreams in life. Like finally allowing myself to want what I want, finally allowing myself to be honest with myself in private about the person I want to be radically changed the world that I was perceiving. Girl, you make me hot, hot. I don't wanna be it. Should I move? There's more stuff that I've realized lately. Let me think of like the next things that I've realized. Oh, next topic I want to talk about is the notion of feeling lonelier when you are with someone than you are alone. I recently just texted someone these exact words. I feel lonelier with you than I actually do when I'm alone. And if there's any sign that like a relationship has come to a close, I feel like that's a telling sign. When you start to feel more alone with that person than you do when you're actually alone. I've lately been wrapping my mind around how do you know when a relationship has completed its course? How do you know when life is pushing you to different connections? Because let me tell you something, the most permanent thing in life is change. I know as a human being, we would wish, everything in our mind and body would wish we could have that person or that friend group or that, like, we want something for the rest of our lives. Like our mind and body as a human being don't particularly enjoy change, especially when it has to do with like attachment figures or people we are orienting our life around. And the biggest factor of that is relationships, like romantic relationships. So how do you know when a relationship has ran its course? How do you know when life is pushing you to pivot, to open your eyes to the next thing it wants to give you? And one of the biggest things that I've realized is when you feel lonelier with them than you do when you are by yourself. I also think that there are very, very small, like little signs that we don't really notice. What usually tends to happen to the average human being is the way that they know that they shouldn't be with that person anymore is because their life is like blowing up. Like they're always feeling upset, like bad shit happened with the person. Like it's not until you reach like rock bottom sometimes that you realize like, oh, like maybe I shouldn't be with this person. Maybe I should, separate from this person and it's like ran its course. But I think that there are earlier signs way before things really hit, like shit hits the fan, that you can look out for. For me, the biggest indicator is your concept of self and your reference of the future. So every single day we are walking in the world with our inner monologue. Our inner monologue loves to think about our past, narrates our present, and thinks about our future. For me, I have noticed that one of the biggest signs that someone is not for me is that I shrink that narrative. So like whatever I was naturally thinking about myself and what was possible for me and what I want to do and where my life wants to go, it starts to shrink and constrict when I am speaking to someone that I truly don't believe is meant for me. Because when you actually not just believe, but when someone is good for you, your inner monologue and your concept of self, it should support that. And if anything, it should help expand it. So like it should help you dream bigger. It should help you expand your concept of the world and yourself. But if you find yourself shrinking your idea of you and your life to fit with this person's life, girl, you know that might not be the most aligned relationship for you. And that's what I found was happening in this particular experience that I was having. Like, I just felt like I didn't have room to hold really, really big dreams or think about myself in a certain aspect because maybe I thought it would upset them. Like, maybe I thought like they would never want to go where I'm going in life. Like, maybe like it would cause friction. So like sometimes, and we don't want to show up as a certain way or admit certain things that we want because we think it's going to make friction between us and our partner. Because if we want certain things that they don't want, what does that mean for our relationship? If we want a certain future that they don't want, what does that mean for where this relationship is taking us? It's gonna create like a fracture between the two people, which is why I would find myself fucking like shrinking everything that I would want to match a person, to be with them, to let the relationship flourish. Because what your mind is well damn good at is letting yourself just change what you want for yourself in order to be with someone. Like, it's very, very easy sometimes to lie to yourself about what you want and what you want for your future just to be with someone, because attachment, that's biological, bro. Like, our attachments that we form with these people is like a body-based thing. Like, we don't want to lose that person. Maybe we have created familiarity, routine, safety within this relationship, and your mind like prioritizes like these survival instincts. And I really believe like attachment and belonging are one of like our core fundamental desires and needs. Like, we don't want to lose a person, even if that means we have to pretend like we're someone that we don't want to be, even if that means we have to shrink ourselves, even if that means we have to shrink what we want for ourselves to stay with that person. And I actually equate it to this feeling of buying a shoe that doesn't fit. It looks good, but it's like 2 sizes tighter than your actual shoe size. And then you buy the shoe because you think, oh, like, well, the shoe lady took me here and she spent all this time like bringing me to this shoe, and you know, I don't want to upset her, and it's the only shoe that they had in the store, so let me just fucking buy it even though it hurts my foot. It might look good on the outside, but inside it's killing me. That is the feeling I equate to being in a relationship that feels constricting. Maybe on the surface level, it seems like it's what you want. Maybe on the surface level, you have good times. Maybe there's that chemistry. Maybe there's that like affection. But what does it feel like in your mind? What does it feel like when you wake up and evaluate your life in the quietness in your own room? Like, what does that relationship feel like in all your moments of solitude is, I think, the biggest thing to pay attention to as an earlier sign if something really, really feels like it's meant for you. Because what I realize in life is like, life is what you make it. And it's not even like, oh, like life is meant to be amazing. Like, coming down to a neutral level, life is whatever you make it. There is no rules. There are no rules. Life is literally what you're willing to stay open for. Whatever you feel like you can cultivate, the world will work with you to get you there. If you don't believe that you have access to something, you will keep picking up the things that are just randomly placed in front of you. You're never gonna hold off long enough to let life show you something different. And that's what happens when you keep that fucking small shoe on your foot. Just because it looks good, just because it was the only pretty shoe in the store, that does not mean you had to buy that small ass shoe. Walking standing up is so much more fun. Like, this is way better than ever. I will always talk standing up from now on. Another thing that I have realized that has been so therapeutic to my soul is kind of like allowing myself to blow up a little bit. Like, I have this thing where I will compose myself so much. Well, like, you learn through like self-regulation, reading books, wanting to better yourself, to like, you know, learn how to communicate properly, learn how to be kind to someone when like even if they're hurting your feelings, you know, like don't do unto others what they do to you. Like you can still like show up in a mature way, but there's balance. There is balance, because I think I have quieted my true emotions so much to the point where like I almost like keep shoving things under the rug for people. Like just by me trying to take things more maturely, or like trying to be kind and realize, you know, their point of view, all it ends up making me do is forgetting my own emotions and forgetting my feelings and forgetting what the pain that you're fucking causing me. Like you're actually hurting me, bro. Like why do I have to sit here all composed and be like, well, actually from your point of view, I kind of see it this way. Like, no, I'm tired. I'm tired of like always trying to like be poised and mature, and there's a balance, and that's the thing that's the beauty of human life. There is always a necessity for both sides, like chaos and peace. Literally leaning too much to one, I think creates an imbalance. Like the human being needs duality, and I think I have like spiritually bypassed my fucking impulses. I'll be like, no, it's okay, Veda, just like really like lean into love and like just handle yourself in a mature way, when I literally was like not listening to my emotions. Like I was actually angry, I was actually hurting inside, but I wanted to come off in like a poised, mature manner, to the point where like I was just letting people just fucking step all over me and being like, okay, yeah, like I think I can see it from your perspective, but like what do you think about my perspective? Like, no, sometimes I'm fucking pissed, and when push comes to shove, I recently just blew up. And honestly, it was insane to see that side of me come out. Truth be told, this person really was like pushing my limits. I really tried really hard in many different ways to come up to the situation in the most mature, like peaceful, oriented way I could be. And then I realized, you're not fucking listening to me. And I actually don't even feel like I'm being honest with you anymore about what you're doing to me. Like I don't feel like I'm being honest with how much you're hurting me, because sometimes the loudest voice in the room gets listened to first, even if they're not telling the whole truth. And that's what it was with this person, where like, you know, maybe both of us were hurt. I was fucking hurt. And my voice in the room is just way lower. Like I'm not honest with myself about my feelings. So then it allows them to take up all the fucking space and fucking make me the villain, make me the problem. And I was like, you know, catering to them, catering all the time to their feelings. And I'm like, wait, why do I feel so fucking angry and numb, but I have no fucking voice here? Like, why do I feel like I can't fucking say how I truly feel? Because I'm constantly taking care of your emotions and I don't want to lose you. So let me just shut the fuck up and pretend like I'm okay and pretend like I'm poised and I'm mature. So like maybe like I can help solve this. Dude, that made me so numb and so fucking angry, to the point where I just blew up. I'm like, you know what? Like, I actually feel like this, and this. And like, for the first time, I think with this person, I was like so bluntly honest about how much they fucking triggered me, and how like, I think I kind of shoved it under the rug all the times they did it just to keep the peace. And because their voice, energetically, their being was louder than mine. Just because their being is louder than yours doesn't make your feelings wrong. Honestly, I gotta repeat that. Just because someone else's being, opinion, and voice is louder than yours does not give you the excuse to shove everything in your mind and in your feelings under the rug. And that's what was happening in this dynamic. I was allowing this person, and like, it's because it's not fully their fault. Like, it's a two-way thing. Like, yeah, that person took up more space and took up more attitude and took up more voice in what they wanted, but it's also my doing. Like, I allowed that person to overshadow, what about me? What about what I want? What about how I feel? What about the things that you're doing that hurt me? And when I realized like, oh, I have fucking free will, I'm gonna fucking say everything I fucking feel and just be fucking done with it, because I am no longer gonna be in this dynamic where I just feel like I shrink. And again, we don't always want to blame the other person, but yes, there are some people that make it harder for you to feel confident. There are some people who make it easier for you to feel more secure in yourself. We hold the foundational base of who we open up and shine next to. So it's a two-way thing, but definitely with this person, I just felt like I have no voice here. And so when that dynamic came to a close, it came to a close because I fucking blew up. I was like, I can't take this anymore. Like, I feel so many, and I listed so many of these dense emotions. I was so angry. And I'm like, yeah, and this is the fucking reality of how I feel. And it felt fucking liberating to finally be honest with myself about how much this person hurts me. Which brings me to my next topic. It's okay to be misunderstood. Because this person never really understood the things that they were doing that were hurting me. Like, in fact, I would tell them and they would be like, yeah, I'm actually not sorry for that. I actually don't get why you would be upset about that, and you're just sensitive. So that would make me think, oh, my emotions aren't valid. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I should change my perspective so that I can make this work. That literally caused so much emotional turmoil for me and so much self-betrayal. And I realized the whole time in this dynamic with this person, and also this has not just happened with this person, it's happened with multiple people, where I will literally be trying to convince someone how they hurt me. Like, I'm sitting here being like, hey, like, what you did, this hurt my feelings. And they'll be like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, that's not real. Like, I actually meant it this way. It's actually not that deep. Well, like, bitch, like, I'm not saying about your feelings. I'm not saying what's deep to you. I'm saying what's deep to me. Like, that hurt my feelings. Like, I think sometimes people like feel like they're being like villainized because they hurt my feelings. Like, I'm not trying to villainize you. I'm just trying to say like, hey, you hurt my feelings. Like, can we talk about this? And I'm constantly met with this blockade of like, that's not real. You're too sensitive. I don't really know how that would hurt your feelings, so I'm not sorry. And I would just be going back and forth with these people trying to convince them of my real emotions. They were my real emotions. And reality starts to get really fuzzy when you start depending on people to validate your truth. Like, I've come to realize that I trust my mind. I trust my thoughts. And I sure as hell trust my fucking emotions. And obviously there's nuances to this, but I'm not gonna sit here and convince myself that I'm completely wrong just because you told me that you're not fucking sorry because you don't see anything that's wrong with what you did. So I'm realizing my biggest lesson lately is I have to be okay with being misunderstood and and I can't spend more time arguing with them about why what they did hurt me. Like, at what point do I realize like I'm completely wasted? Why am I trying to convince you of my emotions? Like, I know they're real. I fucking felt them. I don't have to sit here and gain approval from you to feel my reality. I'm tired of allowing people to like mess with my psyche and tell me what I should be hurt by and what I shouldn't be hurt by and how they actually meant it and how I shouldn't feel upset. Like, bro, like what you do, it fucking hurts. And I don't need to convince you of it to feel validated. I think that's what I did. I would just be like, hey, like, can you understand me? Understand me so I can validate what I'm thinking. Like, no, dude, like, I don't need you to understand me to know that I accept what I feel. And honestly, those are all the thoughts I have for today. I hope anybody has enjoyed listening to these thoughts and things I've been going through, and maybe somebody can relate. Thank you for watching.